Have you ever regretted finding out the truth about something your parents hid from you? I was digging through my mom's dresser looking for hidden candy when I noticed a stack of envelopes. At the time, I was a curious 9-year-old, so I pulled them out and read each letter. You see, I was raised by a single mother my entire life, and whenever I asked about my dad, she froze up and switched the topic. So as I read all these letters that were obviously from my dad, I felt like I was uncovering a secret, especially since all of them were him apologizing for something, but he didn't specify what for. Anyway, I wanted to connect with my dad, so I decided to write a letter back, and I secretly dropped it into the mailbox the next morning. For the entire next week, I kept checking the mail to see if he'd written back, and it wasn't until I went snooping in my mom's dresser that he had written back. But again, she hid the letter. For the next 3 years, I wrote to my father once a month, and he'd always write back, and I'd always find it hidden somewhere by my mom. Until one day, when I walked by mom's room and overheard her crying to someone on the phone. Even 13 years later, he won't stop harassing me, and he keeps lying and saying my son is writing back to him. But I know he wouldn't do that. She wept. I quickly ran to the next room. I needed to find out what my father had done that was so bad. So that evening, I tried to butter my mom up and made her favorite dessert, an ice cream sundae with tea. And as we sat in the living room, I took a deep breath. Mom, I've been writing to my dad. I found the hidden letters when I was 9 inches tall. She immediately dropped her ice cream. Her eyes widened with fear as she grabbed my face in both her hands and said, "Please do not talk to him. He is an evil person." But something in me snapped, and I felt nothing but anger. I started crying from frustration as I told my mother that I'd been alive for 12 years now and knew nothing about my dad other than the letters. I was owed an explanation, and she sat back down, slowly nodding her head. "I wanted to protect you from the truth, but you are right. You deserve to know." She spent the next half hour telling me what he had done to her at a college party and how she was forced to have me. She never wanted me to find out and risk me thinking that she didn't love me, but my father was not a good person, and he's been sending those letters from jail.